Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to Forgotten Poets. And today is not a forgotten author, but I think he is sort of forgotten that he also wrote poetry. And that author is Andrew Lang. He lived from 1844 to 1912. He was Scottish, and he's probably best known for his folklore, fairy tales that he collected in sort of very 12 famous books. The the blue fairy book, the red fairy book, the lilac fairy book, the green fairy book, on and on. 12 different colors and 12 volumes and more. And he wrote on other anthropological subjects, folklore, as well as religion, and history. He's done I think it's 3 volume history, or maybe it's 4, of Scotland. I'd love to have. Um, but he's at the University of St. Andrews. There's the Andrew Lang Lectures, which are named after him, and they've been going since, well, I think since he died or shortly after. This is a 4 volume set, a limited edition to 1,075 copies. Mine is copy 170. It was edited by his wife and published in 1923. And it is done in subject matter throughout, um, more or less subject matter. And in the first volume, there are many subjects that he wrote on. Let me get to the, like, ballads, his friends, old and young, uh, loyal lyrics and deeds of men, Oxford and St. Andrews, Scotland, but also books. And that is one. I'm going to read one of his book poems. Now, he also edited a small volume of poetry that is devoted to books, and it is wonderful. It is a wonderful collection of poetry. But I best know him for his essays. I've not read his fairy tale books, where most people know him from. I first came to him through his essays about books, like literary subject matters, and that's where. And then I discovered his poetry, with that poetry book that I was talking about, and then I got these 4 volumes. The poem I'm going to read is called "The Ballad of the Unattainable." The books I cannot hope to buy, their phantoms round me waltz and wheel. They pass before the dreaming eye, ere sleep the dreaming eye conceal. A kind of literary reel, they dance, how fair the bindings shine. Prose cannot tell them what I feel, the books that never can be mine. Their frisk editions, rare and shy, morocco clad from head to heel. Shakespearean quartos, comedy, as first she flashed from Richard Steele, and quaint Defoe on Mrs. Veal, and Lord of Landing net and line, old Isaac with his fishing creel, the books that can never be mine. Incunabules for you I sigh, black letter at the fonts I kneel. Old tales of Perrault's nursery, for you I'd go without a meal. For books wherein did Aldous deal, and rare Galot de Prix I pine. The watches of the night reveal the books that can never be mine. Prince, hear a hopeless bard's appeal. Reverse the rules of mine and thine. Make it legitimate to steal the books that can never be mine. And I thought that was a very good poem. But again, these are not poets that are. They're not Shakespeare, but they are well worth looking at if you like poetry. And Andrew Lang was a fixture of his time, and he was well regarded. And it's I've said it before. It's him and others are very intermingled with friendships, rivalries from the late 19th century up until the first quarter of the 20th century, and possibly a little further. But ones that started probably in the late 19th century, and that's Edmund Goss, Austin Dobson. There's just the list goes on and on and on. Almost every literary writer, every literary critic, every writer, artist, they were all interconnected in one way or another. And so Andrew Lang is this week's Forgotten Poet, and we'll have another one next week. Thank you, BookTube.